Manifestation techniques. We hear so much about them. And yet, at first, it sounds so woo-woo, right? So, the first time I heard about this concept was years ago, around 5, 6 years ago. And at first, I was like, just visualizing and desiring what we want, then we get to have these things. It kind of sounds too woo-woo, and at first I never really understood how to actually manifest things. So at that time, I did what most people probably did, which was to simply just dismiss it as a woo-woo thing that is too woo-woo. But then, by time, as I got to have certain experiences, then I realized that this stuff, it actually works. And it might work in ways that we might not really expect it to work. So at first, I started to have these little situations in which I would start to desire something, and then shortly after, these things would be fulfilled. For example, there was a time that I desired massages, but I didn't have the financial capacity to actually have massages. But then shortly after I started desiring those things, I suddenly found myself free sessions for massages for new clients. And then I began to have this desire fulfilled. But then there were other things that were like too much to be a real coincidence. Like, for example, when I was doing one of my single phases between relationships, I started to be borderline obsessed with certain type of men in their creation content, and I was like, why am I liking this guy's content? This guy is not even exactly my usual type. But then I was finding myself inexplicably drawn to them. And then what's funny was that shortly after, I manifested a partner that looked a lot like them, and the vibe is also really similar. So what I realized that manifestation is really about most of the time about alignment. So when we are aligning like energetically, so what it means in practical terms is that, for example, when I started to be a match, like be compatible with certain things, for example, with a certain man, and I start to pay attention to them, then I am actually already energetically aligning myself to this type of partner. And who knows, maybe before me and this particular partner I met, we were already energetically aligned with each other long before we meet. So when we are like desiring certain things, it often made me wonder, maybe I am already energetically aligned with these things. And it happens, for example, there were times that I desired to understand more about certain topics. For example, there was a time I had to work on my people-pleasing tendencies and human nature. Like how, for example, we, by us, having people-pleasing tendencies and treat someone too well, that we forget to take care of ourselves as well. So that we put other people first. Then we actually trigger their inner predator of the like taker mode. So if we give, people have this tendency, it's in the human nature, that they will feel entitled to take because they take it for granted. And there was a time that it happened to me that was a highlight in a few months of my life. And I wanted to learn more about it. And shortly after, I remember like I started to see content that was about this topic. And I didn't even need to search about it, basically. Basically, the moment I started to want to learn more, even one of the teachers on feminine energy that I followed since back then, she started to talk about those things. So there is this energetic alignment. And then there is this resonance that we would eventually find each other, like online or in person, etc. And then the other thing that I noticed is that for us to align and manifest, it has a lot to do with how in tune we are with our own emotions, with our own feelings, with our own inner world. Because what is emotions? Emotions are energy in motion, basically. So we have emotions, we have energies in the motion within us. And when we are feeling certain things, basically we are feeling the energy within us, the quality of the energy within us that tells us something, that comes up in the form of sensations, the emotions that we feel. For example, if we feel stressed or if there is a situation that we don't like, our bodies would tense up. That is a signal. And if we are in a high vibe, in a good energy, in a happy energy, then we would like open up, expand our hearts, our chest, for example, is more open, and etc. So all this, the more in tune we are with ourselves, the more we actually understand what is it that is my current energy, the quality of it, and what is it that I might really be magnetizing towards me. So, well, there's this misconception that, oh, if we have many negative thoughts, then we might just manifest certain things. While there is some truth in it, it is not necessarily true. For example, Teal Swan, like she's a famous teacher on YouTube on spirituality and personal development. And she gave this example, like if just by having bad thoughts, we would manifest the bad things. Then when we go to an airplane, when we travel by, airplane, then if many people are thinking about, oh, this plane might crash, what if this might go wrong, then planes would be crashing, right? But it doesn't really work that way. But it's more like, for example, imagine that you're always thinking that, oh, maybe this relationship might go wrong, maybe it might go wrong, maybe it might go wrong. What happens is that your energy is already tensed up. And then because of it, your body language and how you react, how you respond to, for example, what your partner does, subconsciously you will be already sending a signal that something's not right. And then your partner might subconsciously pick it up. Like, oh, something is not right. I don't feel really good in this relationship when I'm with her. And for example, imagine if your partner says, oh, I need to spend the weekend out because there's a travel for work. And because you already feel so tense up, you would react in a way, why do you have to go? Why can't you work from home? Etc., etc. So this would sabotage the relationship eventually. And so when we are able to master by understanding how we feel inside, and then understand how we can direct it, and how we can, before we direct it, how we can work through things. Because you see, negative feelings are not necessarily a bad thing. And if we repress them, dismiss them, we are actually doing a spiritual bypassing. Like, oh, I always have to stay high vibe and then ignore all those negative things. But then, well, whatever negative thing that we repress, you will eventually lose awareness. And they will eventually be in your subconscious. But then they will start to come up in ways that you don't even notice. Then they will sabotage the relationship, the career, the life that you want. So when you feel like something negative, like anxiety, or imagine that you have worries about the relationship, first you try to embrace it by affirming to yourself that, okay, I am just a human. I am just biologically wired to respond or react. about certain things that I might detect sometimes subconsciously. So there is always a reason for me to feel a certain way. This is the first step. So you embrace it and have compassion towards yourself, acceptance that, okay, right now I'm feeling this way and it's just the human experience and it's because something is triggering me. Then, from a place of curiosity, you start to explore like, what am I really feeling? Like, what is it that is really triggering me? Oh, maybe I am worried that by my boyfriend, husband, spending the weekend outside. Maybe he might meet another woman. And then you might wonder, okay, why am I worried about this? Like, then you try to discover, like, did he do anything else in the relationship that might have triggered this sense of worry that I might find it unable to trust him? And if he really didn't do anything, then why is it that I might feel this way? And you go deeper and deeper, always gentle with yourself. Like as gentle as maybe a best friend. How would your best friend talk to you? How would you, as a best friend, talk to your friend if she or he has this kind of worry? So you talk to yourself with gentleness, kindness, compassion, and understanding, and tolerance. That, okay, I feel this way. And talking about tolerance, maybe there is a part of you that doesn't want to tolerate that. That may be a part of you like, oh, I really don't want to feel this way. Acknowledge that part as well. Imagine that within you have different parts and they are almost like a human form that has their own personality, worries, etc. So imagine you have this part like, oh, I'm really insecure and worried. What if my partner finds another woman? And then this part like, I don't really want to feel this way. I worry that this part might sabotage my relationship. Like, go away, go away. Like, you be the mediator for these two parts and say, it's okay. Like, let's discover what is it that you're worrying about. Let's explore a bit more. And to this part, like, it's okay. I know that you just want to protect me and protect this relationship for my sake. But let's have some patience and let's hear what this part has to say. So you see, because all these parts exist, they are a sophisticated system in your mind in order to really protect you. And unfortunately, it is like how the system learned to protect you by doing certain things that might not work so well, but they exist so long because they are the things that your system, your brain, your mind found as a survival mechanism. But of course, we can wire them gradually, rewire them in a way that works better. So you start to be the mediator, and then with your insecurities, like, okay, why is it that I am worried that my partner would find another woman? And if he didn't really do anything that would give me reasons to be suspicious, where does this worry come from? And then you might dig deeper. Maybe it's a past relationship. Maybe it's even from childhood when you felt that you couldn't trust a parent. And when you dig deeper, then you understand where you come from. Then you can start to, okay, I see. And how do you solve it? Because this is just the first step, right? Now you are aware of what is it that is creating this fear that is ingrained in your body's memory. And then you start to, okay, how is it that I can prove that this is no longer necessary? These limiting beliefs, this pattern is this kind of response is not necessary anymore. Because your body learned to respond immediately, automatically. Whenever they see a similar pattern, oh, my loved one might abandon me. It's so fast in your subconscious, it works as an intuition that your body immediately tenses up and you immediately feel compelled to fight it with your partner, like, oh, don't go, just work from home, right? So how do you prove yourself that you no longer need this kind of response, that this kind of logic is no longer needed? By telling yourself, okay, I am an adult now, and abandonment, while it is distressing, I am no longer a child that is completely dependent on the other person for survival. So, worst case scenario, even if he finds another person, I can still survive. And then, since he never really gave me the reason to, maybe I can give him the benefit of doubt. Maybe I can see how this relationship go. And then you try to remember all the little things that he did for you so far, that you can find assurance in it. Like, you see, I remember that he made me this amazing breakfast just the other day. I remember that sometimes he brings me flowers. Or I remember that I mentioned this book that I loved, and he got me as the gift some months later when it was my birthday. He actually remembered those little things. And you hold on to these little things that can assure you that, okay, he's actually really caring for you. It's just what happened with my childhood or past relationship that I learned to respond that way. So with this inner resource that you're no longer a child, that you actually has this to assure you, now you're unblocking your inner blockages to manifest a relationship that is better and better. And it happens a lot. For example, imagine that you want to manifest more money, traveling, success, etc. And you're scrolling on Instagram, and now you see all these women like living their best lives and etc. And you suddenly feel this trigger inside, like this jealousy. And because you learned that, okay, it's not good to be jealous, let's not be jealous, then you repress it. But then there is something within you that is actually there that needs to be solved before you can really manifest more for your life as well. So what happens? Instead of repressing it, imagine that you, okay, I'm feeling this way. I'm giving myself a moment. Maybe I'll even make myself a hot chocolate, a tea, a latte before I dig deeper. Then I start to be curious, like, where does this feeling come from? Because, for example, jealousy, oftentimes it comes from a place where you actually really desire what others have. But in a way, you feel that you cannot have that. You feel that it's not within your capacity to have that. And that's why you feel this, I don't like this. And many people, they just, this is nothing. This kind of life sucks. It's all fake. But then you're not working on your own blocks. And then these Instagram feeds might still appear and nudge you to work on it because, deep down in your subconscious, you want this. So that's why they are still appearing somehow in your life. So that you can, your part of you that desires it, wants you to have it somehow. So you discover that you don't feel confident in getting that. Then by you trying to work on that part within you, like saying, okay, but why do I feel that I really cannot get it? It's like I have this capacity within me. Like maybe I can start my TikTok channel to talk about the things I like. Like what is it that really is blocking? Like if these women can get it, why is it that I am so special that I am the special one who cannot get it? Like if everyone can get it, why can't I? And then you start to be your own best friend. Tell yourself all the counter arguments to that negative belief of why you can get it. And then find proofs with yourself that shows that no, you might actually be able to get it. And this is how you unblock the things that are in the way of your manifestations. So whenever you want to manifest something, and it often starts with very little desires, like seeds within us. So every time you have desires, give them the spotlight, pay attention to them, because they are often nudges to what might be an energetic alignment. to your next level of life, or even soon, like for example my massage like desire, like they might be soon appearing. And if you if you feel these desires, what you can do is like to just fantasize, daydream about it, like entertain those thoughts. And then when you feel any like blockages, maybe maybe I might not be able to get them, or I don't know, I don't, there's something that within me is uncomfortable, then use this opportunity to gain more awareness, to explore, okay, what is it that is blocking me? Then unblock them. And then your desire like will flourish more and more. Each time you unblock something, they are just growing and growing. So you are energetically aligning more and more and more. So my name is Monica and welcome to this channel. And if you find this content useful, please like, share, and subscribe. Help my channel reach more people. And see you next time.